We welcome everybody back here live for tonight's main iSCAR event. Round number 5 going to go underway here at the famed Auto Club Speedway, located here in the center of Fontana, California. Going to go live on the virtual side of things as we get set to go racing for 100 laps at this 2-mile racetrack. My name is Ezeckiel Reyes.
I'm Benjamin White. Welcome to the broadcast, everybody. This should be a good race because we do have off-throttle time here. You would think that there wouldn't be because of how big this track is, but with the way the surface is, you will have to lift every corner. So that's a plus here for our racing product.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure we're going to see something similar of what we saw in the Xfinity Series at Atlanta. A lot of single-file racing and drivers just trying to get into a pace. And as well as the track offers a lot of racing room, but the bottom is where you want to be around this racetrack. So nailing your corners is definitely going to be key here for tonight. As we pull up the standings here on the left-hand side, the fastest driver on the board as of right now, the number 41, Christopher Weil. No surprise to see him on top. Joe Berge, Cole Williams, Dylan Basin, Parker White round out the rest of the top 5, but we'll go ahead and pull up points and see our situation coming into round number 5 and seeing where everybody currently sits at right now. So Malachi Drake and William Schmidt currently tied with points, and they sit 1 and 2 as of right now.
Christopher Weil, as it says on there, is 4th, and his Kentucky finish really didn't reflect on how good he ran there, so I'd look for him to have a rebound this week. Obviously leading practice right now, as now the error is fixed there. But, yeah, I expect him to be fast. Michael Bianchini's 6th in points. He ought to be fast here, too. Still just so shocked that he won at Michigan. What a popular win that was.
That's right. And speaking of a shock, some interesting drivers inside this top 13. Mike DiMaggio has had a really nice Cup season. He currently sits himself nicely in 10th as of right now, but the drivers right behind them, 113, 112, 109. That bubble is really small here in the Cup Series, and we go back to 14th place of Aaron Brown, 107, Peter Kenny, 104, your Daytona winner, David Bachman, 102, Max R. Brady also tied with David Bachman, 102. Corey Long only 2 behind of Brady, exactly 100. And after that, we got a 3-way tie with Charlie Byer and Nick Delicato and one other person that's listed off the screen as of right now. So a lot of worries about the bubble here for tonight, and a lot could change here in 100 laps as well. We'll scoot ourselves to the side as we transition ourselves into qualifying as of right now. We'll be right back right after this. You are watching the Max Speed TV session live here for the iSCAR RaceLab Cup Series. We welcome everybody back here live for the Max Speed TV iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series, getting set to go green here in just a moment. Drivers taking their fastest to around the racetrack as of right now. currently holding the top spot. And Mitch Hobbs in the number 89, being out Christopher Weil in that number 41. Brian C. Mullen sits himself in third. Nice qualifying effort by him. And again, the top 38 in qualifying transfer themselves into the race. So we're doing a 38-5 format yet again here for tonight.
Yeah, really awesome lap by Mitch Hobbs, but also give a tip of the hat to Brian Mullen, who is a vocal critic of how we do qualifying here, but easily gets into the field with a 6th place run. So awesome job for Brian to be up there.
Yeah, really, really nice qualifying effort by him. But Mitch Hobbs, on the other hand, that number 89, topping charts, beating out some notable names: Aaron Mulrooney, Christopher Weil, Nick Miller, all those drivers with some notable pulls. But man, I'm very excited to see on how it'll turn out for those drivers. Some drivers yet to hit the track. The 12, Hunter Johnson, now working himself out into the racetrack. The number 14, and Michael Kenner, looks like he's now working himself on. Cole Williams in that number 42, he's now on the racetrack as well. So all these drivers now just working themselves around and getting themselves in for tonight's main event. And some people sitting outside of that top window. Number 48, Michael Bianchini, right now sits himself in 39th, so he has to nail down this lap or else he's going to be in a bad position. And looks like he just missed turn number 3 right there, so I think the 48 is probably, I'm not sure.
It's huge points implications if he does fail to qualify here, because he's 6th in the points standings. He can't afford, and he goes to 36th! What a clutch lap by Michael Bianchini. The question is now, will anybody knock him out?
Oh, he fell to 37th.
Oh!
And there's
He's
one
still got
person.
cushion,
Yeah,
though.
he still has a cushion. And there's 2 people that might beat him. That might be the 42, or maybe Parker White. He sits 40th right now. He'll cross the start-finish line. So he'll fall to 38th at Parker White. Yeah, so Bianchini falls to the 38th spot. Now Hunter Johnson is going to log himself across the start-finish line, and where will he
Williams
be?
to the pole! Williams to the pole by almost a 10th. Sorry to cut you off there, but what a lap!
And Hunter Johnson does knock out Michael Bianchini. He also knocks out Bridger Olsen as well. The last person in on speed looks like to be the 095, so this is going to be a huge issue for that number 48 of Michael Bianchini, because 5 drivers out of these 8 will get themselves in for this 100 lap event. And man, this is gonna be a shootout for all these 8 drivers to get in for 5 spots. Because oh boy, oh this is some bad news for Michael Bianchini.
Congratulations, though, to Cole Williams. What a lap he put down there in qualifying. And he gets his first career pole, so tip of the hat to Cole for that one.
Looks like there are 7 drivers out on the track right now, so all they have to do is just 2 of these drivers out of these 7 are not going to make it in for tonight's main event, unfortunately for them. So they got to be smart. Man, look at these names inside this LCQ.
And Delicato, last night's winner, he's in this. So surprised to see that. Also, Sartaj Maan is also a very surprising name that you would not expect to see in this LCQ as well. And of course, Michael Bianchini. This is imperative for him. He has to finish in the top 5 here, or his points run might be in jeopardy.
That's right. Here we go. 5 of these 7 drivers out on the racetrack are gonna put themselves into this feature event.
Green flag.
The green flag is out, and we're up and away as these drivers roll themselves into 110 laps here for this little small LCQ. And honestly, that's a lot of laps, especially for a 2-mile racetrack. But Bridger Olsen in the number 59 blinking out just a slight bit might cause a bit of issues, but those drivers right behind are going to use that draft to their advantage as they work down the back straightaway. Matthew Klein, I think, now the... Oh, it looks like he's still in there. And Bianchini, I mean, not Bianchini, but Olsen is really, really blinking hard.
Off turn 4 for the first time, Bianchini will take the race lead as Olsen's blinking. That's not helping him one bit, especially on the straightaways. He can't pick up draft here. Menchu, the only one not to start, so he will fail to qualify here tonight. Casey Drake looking for the race lead. How about Thomas Lloyd taking to that third line?
Bianchini is taking a wide entry into 1. It's allowing him to keep up that momentum, and he's not lifting at all. All he's doing is just keeping his line straight. Hence why he pulled ahead, but here comes Casey Drake in the 87. He'll fling it down to the bottom side, clear the 48 before the corner even ends. Nice slide job maneuver by that number 87, but he opened up the door for the 63. And Casey gets loose right up off the corner as we got a fight for 5th place. And it is Olsen and Nick and Delicato who are both around this area, but Olsen's sort of laying back as of right now as the person 7th in line, that's Matthew Klein. His hopes of getting himself into a cup feature is slowly coming to an end as Bianchini going to go ahead and split it 3 wide through the middle. Thomas Lloyd going to let that 48 by as they work into turn number 3.
If this is a preview of how it's going to be in the main race, I'm pretty excited because you can see they're off the throttle, but they're also pretty close, and it's creating some nice action. You see 3 wide for the race lead, Lloyd on the inside, Bianchini in the middle, and that's Casey Drake up the high side. Casey leads that lap as we take 7 to go.
Delicato's probably waiting in the midst in that 6th position. He doesn't want to push himself toward that top 5 just yet. Maybe hope for a wreck, and hopefully he'll just easily pick up a spot that way rather than racing for that 5th spot of Bridger Olsen. But as of right now, the 10 of Indelicato, first one out. Matthew Klein's the 2nd one out. So for Matthew in that 0-1, he has to hope for a big wreck to happen toward this top 5, or else he's not going to make himself in for tonight. But Bianchini all the way to the apron, just about. He loses a lot of momentum, and he's going to get split 3 wide, and down to the bottom side of the racetrack goes the 49 Sertage Mon, but the 63 Lloyd gets a better run through that corner. He moves himself into 2nd place, and that'll drop Bianchini from 2nd now to the last car in. What can you do right now as these drivers still working? Haven't had a change for that transfer spot yet. We might have one here in a moment as Indelicato in the 10 looks to get around that 48 of Bianchini again, your Michigan winner. If he doesn't qualify for tonight's race, that's going to be huge. 5 laps to go. Drake washes up the corner, opens up the door for Thomas Lloyd to the low side. He'll drag the 49 to Sertage, who wants to split the middle. Never minded that. Rides right against the safer barrier, gonna propel the 87 of Casey Drake just by half a car length, but Lloyd has the preferred line coming into 3. Sertage is really flirting with that 87's quarter panel as they work through the corner. This time by, we'll see 4 laps to go as Nick Indelicato in the 10 has yet to make a move. I'm sure he'll make one sometime as Bridger Olsen right up against the safer barrier. Was planning to go maybe 3 wide up on the high side. He went nowhere though, and he falls back just a slight bit.
You have to think that the 10 is going to make a move here soon. I think he's waiting for a crash, but that might not happen, so he's got to get on the loud pedal if he wants to make the field. He's one spot out of a transfer as Bianchini, who also really needs to make the field here tonight. He's battling with Olsen for the 4th spot, but he needs to transfer as well if he wants to keep his points run alive.
Oh, that's a smart move by the 48 of Bianchini to slot himself into line rather than battle with Olsen. He'll fend out the 10 for net right now because you don't want to open up that that position for Indelicato to take a chance away from you. But now they go side by side again because Olsen washed up the racetrack, and this might put the 10 down low, but Olsen fights himself up high yet again. Indelicato really can't go anywhere unless he wants to take it 3. Bianchini, tight! Oh! Bridger hit the wall, and he slots himself back in the 6th spot. Indelicato is in, but maybe he wants to gun for 4th. A look up front as well.
Down the back stretch, here comes Sartaj to the inside, trying to battle Thomas Lloyd for the lead here. Lloyd started dead last here in this field, and he's already up to the race lead, even though there's only 7 cars on the racetrack. Still a pretty good drive up to the field, nonetheless.
He's fighting hard for the lead, though. Lloyd gonna cross over. Oh, he was thinking about pulling a crossover. Rather, he's gonna stay himself in line. The white flag is out. 2 miles left in the race. It's 3 cars to duke it out for the win. All these 3 drivers are in. As of right now, all our eyes are on that 5th spot of Bianchini in the 48. If he's gonna fall into the clutches of that number 59 of Bridger Olsen, who's falling back ever since he hit the wall. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, though, as they work themselves down the back straightaway for the final time.
Lloyd trying to hang on to this one. We'll see if Sartaj can get a run. He goes low, and Lloyd will have to stay high here. They're coming off turn 4 for the final time. Sartaj looks to have the edge, Zeke.
They work right up off the corner. They dart across the wire! Sartaj gets turned! Are you kidding me? Now Bianchini will work himself in as Nick Indelicato's gonna win the race! Where's Matthew Klein? Here comes Klein! He slows to his stop, he works himself, and he's the last person in! Are you kidding me?
He made the field! Oh, man!
Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, Matthew Klein! Holy cow! That did not just happen! Oh my gosh! How in the world? Oh my gosh, that's, oh my, no way. Matthew Klein gets lucky and works himself through. Holy cow. Did that really happen? Oh my gosh. Man, Sartaj was in a solid spot off of 4. He was the leader at the time, and he... Oh my goodness. We're also getting reports of, Bridger Olsen wasn't really counted as well because he was blinking severely, so I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
So I don't know who will, take Bridger's spot.
No way.
Did he cross the start-finish line in 4th?
He was somewhere in the top 5. If he actually misses the race because he was blinking, oh, that's so unfortunate.
Oh my goodness. Man, I can't believe it. Well, there's Klein, last person in. Congratulations to him and that whole entire crew. First time he's going to be in a cup race in a while.
Looks like Thomas Lloyd will be the one that gets in Bridger's place.
Ah. That means Sertage is out. Dang. And again, he was the leader at the time, and oh, that sucks. That hurts. That honestly hurts. Man who looked really, really strong. Oh, I have no words after that. For Sertage Bond, I don't think he's inside this points battle for the Cup Series, but either way, not making a feature race off of a last lap wreck. Oh my goodness. Still a minute in this warm-up session. We'll go over a bit of race analytics on the bottom left. Auto Club Speedway track length, 2 miles in length. Track configuration, the oval. Here for tonight, elevation around nearly 4,000 above sea level. Time of day is noon, so the grip level is probably at an all-time low as of right now. Pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. 4 extra tire sets that these drivers are going to have to balance. Fuel window, it will be a 2-stop race, and I expect these drivers to maybe hit pit road around maybe 35 to 40, rather than the estimated 40 to 45 laps, but we'll have to see, though, on how they'll strategize around that area, if they'll split it into thirds or run the fuel all the way.
Should be an interesting race here tonight. And as we wrap up happy hour here, Cole Williams won the pole, but there is a little bit of suspicion of cheesing the qualifying lap. Not an official ruling on that yet. We'll see what happens, but do want to inform everybody of that right now.
Alright. Well, time to the double zeros as these drivers get set for tonight's main event. Here's your starting order here for tonight. Congratulations to Cole Williams in the number 42. Again, not sure if he's going to get sent to the rear. Most likely he will, I guess. Mitch Hobbs in that number 89. He's going to be in second place.
Starting third here tonight is Aaron Mulrooney and Christopher Weil, who's been strong everywhere we go. He'll start in the 4th spot.
Eric Heater in the number 28. Nick Miller in the number 95 is going to round out row number 3.
Row 4, Jonathan T. Baker and Peter Kenny. Nice qualifying run for Peter.
Brianna Levin is going to round out that number 71 in 9th spot. Cody Webster in the number 9. He's in 10th.
Brian Mullen with a very nice qualifying run for him. He'll start 11th. Garrett Hess will start in 12th. Rest of the order will be on the inside of your screen here. As you see, Malachi Drake starts 13th. He's your points leader coming into tonight.
That's right. Poindexter, a nice solid effort by him at Gateway to round himself out in 3rd. Noah Allison was caught up in a couple of incidents, I think, yesterday. I think he was the one who flipped over the wall in the New Hampshire race before even crossing the start-finish line. So hopefully he could go longer than just taking the green here for tonight. Charlie Byron, that number 7, starts himself all the way back in 28th alongside Joe Berge. Bachman, he too is around that bubble area of where these drivers got to get in with points. See Mark Frimpong, William Schmidt round out 31st, 32nd. Hunter Johnson in that number 12. He's had an abysmal Cup Series season, but he starts himself all the way in 34th. The last drivers on speed, Kevin White Jr. and Parker White, the rest of the order right here, all qualifying themselves through on the LCQ. Bianchini, Matthew Klein, and the 63 of Thomas Lloyd here for tonight. Williams will scoot himself to the side.
I was just about to mention we would get official word whether he'd be set to the back or not, and he has been sent to the rear of the field for cheesing, I believe, as he continues to move, and it looks like he is going to stop on the inside and let all these drivers pass. Probably the most controversial one we've seen so far as the call, because this one was a little harder for the officials to determine.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not really sure on the call for that, but a couple of other drivers gonna work themselves down low, maybe. Gonna elect to go to the back here for tonight, but here we go for tonight's event. Number 89 of Mitch Hobbs is actually gonna elect the bottom side, even though he's not really supposed to be there. I think the 89 is the control car. I'm not sure if it's gonna get given to that number 2 of Aaron Mulrooney, who's gonna start himself in 3rd place, but we'll have to see as they work themselves into 3 and 4. 100 laps gonna go into the books, 200 miles in tonight's race. Glad you could join us in here for tonight's main event here for the iSCAR RaceLab Cup Series. As the pace car will scoot itself on left, and we will take the green flag for tonight's event. Pace car is now on in, and working himself right up off the corner is the 89 of Mitch Hobbs and the 2 of Aaron Mulrooney. Green. We're up and away here at Auto Club.
Lots of fanning out there as Mitch gets a nice start. He will take the race lead here as 4 wide. They spread up down the front straightaway. That's, I believe, Andy McDowell picking up several spots there as he goes to the inside of Mullen. What a start here for... Oh, man! Peter got put up the racetrack by Mullen. Still 4 wide. They sorted out down the back straightaway, back to about 2 or 3 wide as cars swerve and maneuver their way down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like Peter didn't realize he was 4 wide at the time, and he ended up dooring that number 17 and Brian Mullen, and Mullen now moves himself down to the bottom side and out of harm's way. They work themselves right up off the final corner. In the lead is that number 89 of Mitch Hobbs. Peter gets really sideways right up off the corner, right in front of looks like the 14 of Michael Kenner. They work themselves across the start-finish line, though, completing lap number 1, the 89 of Hobbs, but he has a mirror full of that 41 of Christopher Weil.
Christopher looks to the outside, decides to tuck back in, though, and that will help Mitch down the back straightaway, but Mitch gets a bad exit there and now tries to fend off Chris. What a block! He'll do 2 maneuvers of blocking down the back straightaway as we continue to race for the race lead.
They work themselves into 3 as Mitch Hobbs and that number 89 fends out the 41 of Christopher Weil. It seems as though top 8 pull away, but look around this position. There, 2, 3, 4 wide, right up off this final corner as these drivers trying to get situated. Up front, they're also trying to get situated. Trouble in the back! And around goes, I think, the 19. I'm not really sure who the car that flung around. It seems as though it was Peter Kenny in the 19, and there he is. It looks like he's joined in by the 9 of Webster. They keep themselves going, though, and we still are green as of right now. But, man, look at this top 5 and top 10, I'd say. They are gone from the rest of the field.
How about Jonathan Baker? He's in the 4th spot with his new team of McGrath Simsport. He goes to the inside now of Christopher for the 3rd spot. What a good early run here for the 36 machine as, wow, Mulrooney gets loose off the corner.
Yeah, Mulrooney he lost a lot of momentum and taking it 3 wide all the way to the bottom side. Christopher Weil in that 41, but how about Jonathan T. Baker in that number 36, highest rookie as of right now as he works himself to the 3rd lane, being sandwiched is a 2 Mulrooney. Baker tries to come down and maybe shorten out that corner, but Weil, they're still 3 wide around that position. Down the back straightaway is the 28 of Eric Heater. What line will he choose? It's like Wild flings it into the corner. I mean, not Lloyd, but Baker will shove it on in and get to the quarter panel of that number 41. And the two Mulrooney looks like he's going to go to the backside of that number 41 and now push him across the start-finish line. Seems as though only, like, I'd say the top 7 or... No, it looks like top 10 have all pulled away. You'll have to scroll all the way back to Dylan Basin in the 08, who's really on an island of his own. But as of right now, Mitch Hobbs is doing a phenomenal job of maintaining his spot up here inside this top 5.
Do want to mention Basin and Liam Sheen have a broadcast wars going on. Take a look at their paint schemes as we we'll go back to the 08 here in just a second here, but take a look at each of their paint schemes as Baker gets loose and goes way up the racetrack.
4 wide again!
Basin's running a Podium Esports car, and Liam's running a SimTV car, so a little bit of broadcast wars as they're actually right behind each other on the racetrack. So there's Liam right behind battling with the 95 there for position, but we'll keep track with that throughout the night. The only thing we needed to add was a Max Speed TV car out on the racetrack, Zeke.
Yep, that's right. That would have been cool to see the MSTV colors being sported here tonight. But look at Mitch Hobbs. He's pulled himself to a 0.4 second gap over these drivers right behind for that second spot. Aaron Mulrooney now works himself downstairs at the low side of the 41. Christopher Weil attempts to pitch right off the corner, but can't hold off the number 157 of Max Brady. They work themselves across the start finish. 3 wide for second as the 14 of Kenner is going to be watching. And where is he going to go? Looks like he's boxed in as the 2 of Mulrooney attempts to pinch into the corner. He got really tight on entry, and that will boot the 41 of Weil way up the racetrack. Opens up the door for the 28 of Heater, and they're still 3 wide.
Michael Kenner with the run of a lifetime through 1 and 2, but no drafting help down the back straightaway will hurt him just a little bit. But look at how close they are racing for the second spot. But this is helping Hobbs pull away. Look at the lead he has. It's almost 0.6 of a second.
Looks like the number 2 is struggling 4 wide again off the corner. That's the 4th or 5th time we've seen 4 wide action as the 06 of Josh Patterson gets into the mix. My goodness, a lot of action right up off the corners especially. But up front, the number 89 of Mitch Hobbs. Oh, he clips the apron! He saves it though, but this is going to open up the 14 to grab the lead. Mitch is flinging out. He's going to fling down low to block into 3.
I will not be surprised whatsoever if Kenner wins this race. This is easily his best track on the service. I've seen him race here before. He is very fast here, and you can see it as he goes to the outside of the 89 for the race lead. We'll see if he can side draft down the front straightaway. Hobbs will lead that lap, but Kenner's going to have what I would say is the preferred line as we've seen early.
Oh! Mitch Hobbs gets tied. Around goes the 14. He'll collect the 89 up the racetrack. Collect the 2. And around they go. Heater involved in it. The 2 of Mulrooney. The 14 of Kenner as the field piles in right behind. Latham Joyner also gets involved in it. He slides down the track. And Nick and Delicato. The 7 of Charlie Byer. Looks like a triple-digit number is also involved in that as well. But a big pileup in 1 and 2 involving the leaders brings out the first caution here for tonight. And that was messy as Mitch Hobbs got tight and washed into the car on the outside. And man, some really big names were taken out from that one.
Oh my. And I jinxed Kenner really bad there. I'm sorry, Michael Kenner, for that, but he crashes along with about 6 or 7 other drivers, and that brings out the first caution. But what an incredible run in that first, stint there. I mean, there was so much good racing around the racetrack as we see a replay here, but I just want to tip the cap to everybody. That was an amazing run that these guys had.
Oh, looks like 41 Christopher Weil hit the apron trying to get down low, but the 14 and the 89 made contact as it worked into 1. That sparked off a big mess. Bit of right side damage there. And Heater in that 28 looks like, unfortunate for him, he's not going to go 2 in a row. Looks like doesn't have a lot of damage. Latham Joyner also getting caught up in that mess. But here comes some more hits right behind. The 7 of Byer trying to avoid a round as these cars pile up right in front of him. Oh, that's the 10 of Indelicato. The man who won it yesterday. 42. Mulrooney, once he got hit up the racetrack, he clipped the 14 and 28. As I say, with things like that, that just sucks. '89 of Hobbs is definitely going to get a penalty mark for that. And I expect that 89 to be joined in the back. Some other drivers as well. But working himself back up to the front. The 41 of Christopher Weil, who was sort of floating around that top 5. So now, of course, door got wide open when he started wrecking in front. Looks like the 41, Christopher Weil, finally got lucky with this one. So we'll go green yet again. This time, Christopher Weil, Josh Patterson, Jonathan T. Baker, Garrett Hess. How about that and run by that number 777 of Garrett Hess? He came out of nowhere. Looks like picking up 7 spots of where he started. Now he works himself inside this top 5. Has a bit of left front damage. I don't think a bit of left front damage is going to affect him as much. See the 08 of Dylan Basin alongside the 02 of Liam Sheen. Benjamin mentioned about broadcasting wars right there. We're going to start alongside of each other here for this first restart of the night. Pace car will scoot itself down onto pit road. Kick it off yet again as the 41 of Christopher Weil. Josh Patterson, the 06, will lead the field to the green. Let's go back racing here at Auto Club as the pace car winds itself on in. And we are back up and away in Fontana. Bit of a cleaner restart here toward this top 5, but man, they're looking 3, 4, 5 wide right in the back, and this is perks of Auto Club racing. It's so wide coming into turn number 1, and everybody's going to take all sorts of evasive maneuvers to get as much track position as you can. Right there was just a perfect example of using as much track as you can, as the 06 Josh Patterson looks like he threw the Haybaker block down into 3. Oh, looks like the 777 to Garrett Hess. Whoa! Up the racetrack, and he goes. They'll fly down the racetrack. Nearly clipped the 17 to Brian C. Mullen. They're gonna... Oh, there they go.
Caution is out.
And we're gonna have another pile up off of 4. 42, Cole Williams also in it. Brody Gardner in the 55 looks like he's spun. But it seems as though there was contact there with the 20 of Andy McDowell. And the 777 of Garrett Hess. We'll take a look at it again. Looks like... caution was sparked from the 42 of Cole Williams spinning, and also the 20 spinning. See Garner fling to the inside. I think the 55 did receive some front end damage from from hitting the wall. But it seems as though a bit of contact between the 20 and the 77. Looks like Hess was already washing up, and the 20 of Andy thought he could pinch him down and maybe take some downforce off the car, trying to pinch him down as much as he could, but fortunately, it just didn't work. And he pounded the high side barrier, and the 17 of Mullen got really lucky off of that. There's the car spinning to the inside. That's Brody Gardner, 55. He was trying to avoid a round. It seems as though the 87, that's David Bachman, ran into the door of that 55 of Garner. Around he went. So we'll go under a quick caution here for the night. Luckily here at Auto Club, cautions don't last as long as they do on normal tracks. I think caution laps are 3 or 4 laps, rather than the classic 5 on 1.5 milers as well as short tracks. But will easily work themselves up and away here for tonight. Christopher Weil and that number 41 will lead the field back to the green yet again. Alright. So a lot of drivers on the lead lap. 36 in total. Still have a chance to win it here at Auto Club. Currently up front, Christopher Weil in that number 41. Josh Patterson came short at Richmond. He works himself into second place as of right now. This is one of his better tracks. So I expect that 06 to be strong as we progress with this event. Max Brady in the 157, he too is also in this mix as well. But here we go, as the pace car will scoot itself down on the pit road, kicking off the second restart of the night. The 41 of Weil has an open shot right in front of him to take the lead. And up and away we go, but it's a lot of blocking down to the low side. The 06 of Patterson shut the door on the 157 of Brady as they work themselves into one. Seems as though that jump by the 41, Christopher Weil, really fanned out the field. That, in turn, is probably going to open up the door for this draft to really play a big factor in this race, as Brady gave a shot to the 06. Down the back straightaway. Weil is sort of IndyCar lining it, trying to break as much draft as it can. 3 wide into the corner, and down to the low side goes the 08 of Basin. He's trying to sandwich the 06 of Patterson, who's trying to fend out the 157. They work right up off the corner. Still clean as of right now. And looks like the 06 of Patterson is wanted to sniff off the draft of Christopher Weil that he's leaving right behind. Weil stays right up against the safer barrier, and that'll box in the 157. And Brady lifts a bit. And they'll take 3 wide into the corner as the 06 of Patterson worked himself down to the bottom side. Close right up off the corner. Still 3 wide as the 08 of Basin down to the low side. He has a bit of help as well, but Brady is sort of left in the dust in the middle. And it's the 12 of Hunter Johnson also trying to work himself into the mix. He'll let Christopher Weil in line, but that in turn just let the 06 out in his own zip code. But he's getting a new neighbor by the 157 of Max Brady. 3x3 right behind as these drivers try to work themselves into the corner. The 28 Keeter looked as though he was about to take it 4 wide into 1. He backed out of it though as that inside line checked up a lot. Jams up those drivers right behind. 4 wide again as Heater to the bottom side. No help with him. They're still 4 wide. They now scoot themselves into line. As up front, though, new leader Max Brady in the 157 takes the point. We'll see if the 06 of Josh Patterson can mount up a charge and maybe get a run. Worked himself right up against the white line. Drift up the racetrack, but looks like the 06 of Patterson used that draft to his advantage. He works at the high side of Brady, and they go side by side for the lead, but the looks like the 06 of Patterson, he overshot the corner. He opens up the door for the 41 of Christopher Weil. But Weil has no help down the back straightaway, so I think, now he has some help as the 08 of Basin. Oh, he's being a bit hesitant on where he wants to go and set himself up into 3. I think that 08 is also mirror driving as well as the 12 of Hunter Johnson. Oh, Basin early sideways right up off the corner. And he opens up the door for the 12 of Johnson into 4th place. Where did Johnson come from? Worked himself all the way back from 34th. Yeah, the 34th position. Sheen trying to work himself to the bottom side of the 12. Looks like it's not going to happen as Sheen gets pinched down right up off a 2. What a save there by the 41 of Weil. He was dead sideways right up off the corner, but he keeps it straight. And that'll open up the door yet again. 3 wide, 4 wide as the 36 of not Thomas Lloyd, but Jonathan T. Baker picks up 1 position over the 41. Still up front, though. Basin and Cody Webster just about hit the outside wall. But Brady is doing a phenomenal job of controlling the draft and keeping the 06 right behind him. But now Patterson will draw himself down to the low side. And we'll see if Patterson is going to have a good enough run through the corner to maybe gun for that top spot. Brady takes a wider arc right up off. And it plays to his advantage. But it closed the gap between the 06 and the 12. So now where will Hunter Johnson go in the 12? He needs some help as Webster takes it 3 wide right behind. What a move by the 9.
This is such good racing.
Oh!
Oh no! Baker gets put in the grass, but what a save. We'll see if he can merge safely back on the racetrack.
Watch out for that transition.
Going all over those bumps, but he's able to get back on the racetrack with a nice save. But up front, Patterson leads the way, but Webster is making that 3rd groove work.
Yeah, we saw him do it earlier. Oh my goodness, Brady was looking to come down on the come down to the 12, but stopped inches of the door. From that door of that 12. Sheen will take it 3 wide. He has some help with the 28 of Eric Heater, but up front, new faces working themselves inside this top 5 as the 9 of Cody Webster works himself to the quarter panel of that 06. Side by side for the lead. Patterson leads it at the wire, but Webster is there. And look at this fight for 3rd as well as Brady is sort of fading away. Oh, looks like Heater gave his shot to the 06. Oh! Johnson was trying to clear high up off the corner, nearly ran into the 08 in a basin. Actually, he did. And that was nearly a wreck. Still up front, though, side by side for this top spot. As the 06 of Patterson and the 9 of Cody Webster duke it out side by side. And this will open up the door for the 157 of Max Brady to maybe take a sniff for this top spot. Oh. Webster switches lanes. He works himself down low.
This allows Brady to get back into this battle now. We'll see if he maybe takes it 3 here. As you can see, he backs up the corner, trying to get a run on exit as Webster clears for the race lead off turn 4.
Now Webster up front. We'll see if he can fend out the 06 of Patterson, who works him down low. Webster trying to throw the block on the middle of the straightaway. Looks like it's not going to work to his advantage. The 06 of Patterson now will drive it into the corner and take it to the bottom side. Webster doing a phenomenal job of pinching down the 06. He gets a nice run right up off the corner. Oh, a bit of dooring there between those top two. They're still oh so close. I'm surprised Brady hasn't really made a run for this top spot. It's all been Webster and Josh Patterson this whole entire it's all been the 06 and the 9 for these past 5 laps, but here comes Brady. He has a run. He'll gun for second place most likely, but Basin is not letting go of the 157. Look at the pinching right up off the corner the 9 does. Brady's trying to slot himself up to the high side, but it now gets filled in by the nose of the 08 of Basin. Webster will shove it into the corner and looks like he will retain the top spot. Work himself down low, try to break the draft.
Few drivers we have not talked about all night. How about Hunter Rupp up in the 8th spot, the number 1 car? And Parker White as well, who surprisingly qualified way back in, I think, 38th spot. He's up in the top 10 now as well.
Well, that's right, but unfortunately, they're way, way far back of where these leaders are as of right now. I think we're now getting into the run, into the portion of the run in which tires are definitely going to start to matter. And grip is going to be varied through each car as Webster gets a nice pull away off of turn number 4. He'll clear Patterson, but I'd say 2/10. But it closes up into the corner because of the draft. They're still fighting out for that 4th position as Hunter Johnson and Dylan Basin work themselves into 2. Eric Heater in that number 28, even though he was involved in one of the previous wrecks, he's still contentive, which is honestly surprising. And he works himself inside this top 5, now into the top 4. Trying to reel in the 12 of Johnson with him as well. On the bottom side, looks like they're not going to go anywhere low. Basin tags the outside wall. Heater gets sideways right up off the corner, veering it down low. And that in turn just pulled Webster to, I'd say, a half a second lead. And there's a huge clog up from the 2nd position on back.
Webster, though, is pulling away. Never mind of that. There's Patterson, finally is back on the racetrack. We never really saw him those last few laps because he was blinking so hard. Now he reappears now, but I'm not sure if it scored him all those laps. But
I don't know.
There he is.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure if it scored him.
We see him in 2nd, though. We see him there in 2nd. So weird. I was thinking that Webster was pulling away, and then all of a sudden we see Patterson reappears on our screen. So what a very odd instance there, but it looks like it actually scored him all those laps. What a interesting turn of events there.
That's right, as work right up off the corner and down the back straightaway. We're coming up on the first fuel mark. As ATVO is being a bit slow. Apologies about that. For Cody Webster in that number 9. He's doing a really, really nice job of maintaining that top spot. And he also has fresh tires as well under his hood. So for Webster, because he did pit last time, as well as the 28 of Eric Heater, who now is going to probably gun for the 2nd position here in a moment, I think these drivers might want to come on a pit road, and the window for that first stop is right now. You could pit right now and probably stretch yourself all around that 66 mark, but that's for a run to be split for every 3rd. For Webster to maybe one-stop this, he has to stretch this field all the way and run all the 45, 46 laps he has in his tank, so I'm not sure if Webster wants to one-stop this and Heater in the 28. I'm not sure how it's going to work for him as Johnson gave a bad shot to the 28 of Heater. Heater's going to actually let Johnson by, and then opened up the door for the 0-2 of Sheen downstairs.
Webster, we do have to note, is on fresher tires than most of these drivers up front, with the exception of a few others like Parker, or no, that's Nick Miller, my bad, and Eric Heater. So he obviously had the advantage, especially those first few laps. You saw how he was able to make that third line work.
Looking right behind here, all this battling is leaving the top three by themselves. Sheen, Basin, 2x2, and this is halting Heater's progress with his fresher tires as well, so. For Heater in that 28, he has to get through all these cars, but unfortunately, I think he wore out his tires getting up to this position. But for this top three, though, 9 of Webster, the 06 of Patterson. Patterson, especially, he's doing a really, really nice job of maintaining track position versus the 9's fresher tires, as well as Hunter Johnson. But Patterson running in second. And staying in the draft of that number 9 has probably saved him a bit here. As of right now, it looks like Sheen does get clear for that 4th position right behind. But the caution does come out.
Interesting time for a caution here. This should reset everybody's tire strategies, I would think.
No doubt about it.
Wonder where the caution is here.
Get a replay of it.
Might be in the back.
Apologies about ATVO being slow, but get a replay of what happened. There it is. Oh, that's Mark Frimpong. There he
Hard
is.
shot into the wall. He's next to Mullen here, down the back straightaway. Both of them racing each other, very aggressive. We'll see who's at fault here. It looks like, ooh, they kind of moved into each other there.
Yeah, I think Mark went down and Mullen held his line. I think Mullen was trying to push the 53 up the racetrack so he wouldn't get the entry coming into 3. I'm not really sure, though. That's fairly hard to call. But you see Mark already starting to move down on Mullen into 3, and Mullen wasn't really budging. Round went the 53 of Frimpong. This in turn will open up the door for pit stops. 65 laps to go, so you were not going to be able to make it on fuel unless you stop at least one more time. So we're still going to have at least a one-stop race. And the question is, do you want to split the run in half, or do you want to push the fuel all the way? Joe Berge in the 83 elects to stay out. Looks like he missed his stall.
We'll probably see him in the pits this time.
Yep.
And that will hand the lead to Hunter Johnson as soon as he does that. So, first time Hunter's been in the lead all day. Good to see that after starting deep in the field.
For Webster in the 9 and Heater in the 28, they don't have an extra. They don't have They have less tires than the drivers around them because they did use up a set to get themselves in this position. So the gamble to take on tires might play a factor coming into the long run. So I'm not sure if Webster now wants to probably save that tire. I mean, save that set for one more time. I mean, what am I saying? Save that set and stretch that fuel all the way, rather than splitting it in half. And you don't want to take a gamble with your tires yet again for this next run. So for that 9, he has some decision making to do, as well as the number 28 of Eric Heater. So I'm interested to see on how they're gonna play this run out.
Absolutely, but as we get nearer to the halfway point, we're going to see the intensity ramp up here. So we'll see who's going to push hard early and who's going to save their tires, or if they'll even need to save tires, as we've seen some races just turn into a caution fest. So hopefully it doesn't go that way, but there's two ways this race could go. It could either have lots of green flag runs, or it could be the other way around and we have a caution breed caution type of race. But pace car will be in this time. Hunter Johnson will lead them to the green.
Johnson has yet to pick up an iSCAR victory in the Cup Series, but now he has a chance to as he sits on the top spot in position number 1. Pace car scoots itself down to the pit road. And green, green, green. We're up and away as Webster will slot himself down to the bottom side and cut off the 28 of Heater. Same situation with Max Brady and Josh Patterson. Looks like the top 4 are all single file as Patterson looks like didn't get a good launch off that start. And he falls into the hands of Parker White in the 095. Work themselves down onto the back straightaway.
Lots of weaving down the back straightaway. There you see Heater, last week's winner after an incredible drive. I can't believe his runs in the final lap of that race, but here comes Webster to the inside now for the race lead. He'll take it. Now Max Brady goes after the second spot. They're side by side for that position. They're side by side throughout the top 10. How about 3 wide with Parker White?
3 wide with that 095 as he gets cut off by Brady into the corner. A lot of different braking zones onto one. Really caused them to bottle up just a slight bit. That scared me for the moment, but we're still 3 wide as Parker might want to slot himself right behind that number 28 of Heater. I'm not really sure if he wants to make it try to take it 3 wide. Indeed, he will. So he'll take the chance to get around the 28, but he's getting fought off by the 02 of Sheen. And this, in turn, look at the gap that Patterson is putting on these drivers right in front of him. Still 3 wide as, oh, wow! Looks like William Schmidt wasn't all the way committed to the apron, and they nearly made contact, as now they're going to sort it out 2 by 2 as Miller is going to be the one left in the middle.
Right now, the leader of our broadcast wars goes to Liam Sheed and SimTV, so we'll keep you updated on that all race, as it's just a little game those two are playing right now, as Sheed currently in the 5th spot. Impressive run for Liam here tonight. And another driver I have to give a call to. How about Casey Drake? Worked his way out of that LCQ, started, I believe, 41st, and he's in the top 10. He runs the 9th spot as William Schmidt gets real sideways off the corner.
Yeah, and that opens up the door for the 28 of Heater and the 95 of Miller. Work themselves around, so William loses multiple positions right up off the 4th corner. But meanwhile, for this 4th and 5th spot, Sheen looks like we'll grab it away from the 06 of Patterson, who's trying to fend out Parker White. They'll slot themselves into line and right up against the barrier. Maybe mount up a charge with all the draft right in their hands into 3. Patterson will gun to the low side of the, looks like the 02 was Sheen. Sheen will cut out Parker White. As, in the meantime of that, Cody Webster in that number 9, he's pulling himself up and away.
This is one of the best races Webster has put together to date. This is a very good run from him. Still looking for that first Cup win, and could easily get it here tonight. this is one of Webster's best tracks, and it's showing right now as he leads the race. I'm absolutely not surprised to see this whatsoever. So, very awesome for proximity racing right now, 1-2.
That's right, and for the 157 of Max Brady, though, he wants to be splitting up that top two in some kind of way. You don't want to get the teammates hooked up together, or else it's going to be hard to unhook them once they're sitting side-by-side position-wise. And Brady gets swamped in by the 06 of Josh Patterson. Will try to drag in the 02 of Liam Sheen downstairs. And joined in by the 095 of Parker White as well. White looks like he's going to drive it into the corner and get side-by-side alongside the 157. Brady looks like he loses 2 spots off of that exchange. Look at Johnson right up against the safer barrier, hoping to bait somebody out. Unfortunately, he put himself in a 3-wide situation into 1. As Miller, sideways right up off the corner, loses a lot of track position to the 87, the 28 now with the 79 of William Schmidt as well.
Nice save, though.
Drake pinches his teammate, that BDD teammate of Eric Heater right up off the corner. Heater stalls out as Casey attempts to help Max Brady in the 157 get away from the 28. Casey was looking down to the bottom side as Williams going to take it up right up against the safer barrier. Maybe mount up a charge to that high line, but he opens up the door for the 95 and the 1. Hunter up and Nick Miller go side by side. Hunter's going to scoot himself back in the line. Hunter's had a nice run. He hasn't had a great of a week. That number 1 has been wrecked out very, very early, but luckily for the 1 of Hunter Johnson, Hunter up, doing a really, really nice job as see close racing there with the 87 and 95. Well, right now it's all the number 9 of Webster. And when do you want to play the strategy of splitting that run?
It's going to be interesting for sure to see who goes with what strategy, but Liam Sheen has been carving through the field these last few laps. He's up to the 3rd spot. Parker White as well. He's up to 4th. And this top 10, for the most part, is made up of the same drivers as it's been this whole run, but those positions have switched around quite a bit.
Yep, that's right, but the 9 has been able to control the draft and keep the 06 and 02 in his mirror for right now, but the question is, can he do it for long? I'm not sure, but Patterson works himself down low. And we'll clear right up off the corner. So new leader, the 06 of Patterson, but here comes Webster. He's going to cross over down the straightaway. And this is going to open up the door for Sheen and maybe gun for this top spot as well. Where will Sheen go? Does he want to go with the 06 of Josh Patterson or the 9 of Cody Webster? Oh, Webster really shoved it into the corner, trying to clear the 06 of Patterson. It looks like the 02 is Sheen is going to go with the 06 of Patterson. This will propel Sheen into 2nd place, as now he's going to take the lead for himself.
Awesome racing up here, but we know Patterson will be aggressive all race long. He hasn't won in about 2 years, and he wants to win so bad. He feels like he got robbed at Richmond, which I do agree with, and trying to make up for it here with a possible win tonight here at Auto Club as we approach halfway. So Patterson doing all he can right now. Parker White also in 5th. I think he could easily get his first career win tonight if he can just keep the car clean. We saw how much speed he had last night in the truck race at Gateway. Unfortunately, got caught up in a crash, which ended his night.
Curious on what these drivers are thinking for this upcoming pit stop here in just a moment. As of right now, they're focusing on track position as Miller throws a huge block right behind. Bending out Max Brady, Casey Drake, and William Schmidt are all around this position. Brady will work himself downstairs at the low side of the 87. They're starting to break up Cody Webster and the 12, Hunter Johnson. So the proximity duo are falling back into the hands of everybody outside this top 5. For Josh Patterson in the 06, all he has to do is just nail his marks, and hopefully Sheen doesn't really mount up a charge to get himself a chance for that top spot. Basin works himself down low. Looks like he's... Oh, man, Heater's doing a whale of a job of pinching. Schmidt gets loose right up off the corner. We'll open up the door for the high side to work around as some more battling right up here. Looks like nobody goes with oh, looks like that's one of the lap machines. I think that's the 024, Noah Allison. Looks like Webster was trying to sniff off a draft off the Noah Allison, but unfortunately just went nowhere. Webster hits pit road. Wow, that's huge. So the 9 on pit road. And looks like that might have been quits for him. So Webster seems as though some personal issues on his side. Will eliminate him from competition here tonight. For the 06 of Patterson, though, that's just one less competitor to really worry about. Man he's worried about the most is the 02 of Liam Sheen. Still in the mix, though. As they're working to 3, they've actually gapped ahead of the 12 of Johnson. Looks like by a second. This is the first time we've really seen cars start to gap away and pull ahead. And it seems as though this is the time for those drivers, for these drivers to take advantage of tire wear now and all other variables to put themselves into a nice spot. Sheen will try to go to the low side of the 06. Looks like no. Patterson denies him. You see the difference in lines right up off the corner. Looks like Patterson is exiting the corner a bit more shallower than the 02 is Sheen. Sheen is taking more of a traditional line through the corner, but that might be hiccuping him on exit. As here comes a 12 of Johnson also into the mix as well. 3 wide right behind. Around where the looks like this is the 151 of Aaron Brown, 79 of William Schmidt, 21 also Carson Poindexter also in this mix as well. Haven't mentioned his name, as Joe Berge also in that mix as well. Up front though, it's all been Patterson in the 06. Still got a lot of racing left as Hunter Johnson's going to get into the mix of this battle. That's the last person you want to see in your mirror. Sheen has to maybe he wants to push the issue on that number 06 before Hunter gets to him. Because once Hunter catches up to that 02 and 06, I'm pretty sure Hunter's easily going to take this top spot. But he stalled out right there, right up off the corner. And they're all even across the start-finish line as well, so... I'd say a full second gap between Parker White and Hunter Johnson and that number 12. And if there was a time to hit pit road to split this run in half, you want to split it on, looks like 30 laps in, as here comes Sheen to the low side, trying to take the lead away from the 06 of Patterson. He's going to pinch right up off the corner. Looks like Patterson was trying to pinch down the 02, he stalled himself, as well as the 02. Maybe Johnson wants to split the middle. No, Johnson is going to block off the 06. I mean, what am I saying? Johnson is behind the 06. Patterson will block off Johnson. Patterson retains his spot for right now, but that just tells you the speed with a 12. Oh! Nearly a wreck right there as the 02 and the 12 made contact. Sheen was trying to come down on the 12 of Johnson. And that would have been disastrous. Sheen is using all the racetrack. He's right up against the safer barrier, right up off of 4, rather than Patterson, who's sort of keeping a safe distance right up off. Oh, near contact as Sheen tried to work himself down low. I mean, he did work himself down low, but the question is he going to grab the lead as the 12 of Johnson? Where does he want to go? Looks like up high. He wants to use the outside to his advantage. Patterson gets a nice entry into 1 because of all that scuffle for second place. Oh, looks like Sheen got really sideways right up off the corner, loses a bit of time. And this will open up the door for the 12 to the inside. Sheen trying to pinch the 12 and stall him. Looks like he's going nowhere. They go side by side for second place. This is what Patterson wants to see in his mirror. But it seems as though the 12 of Johnson, he got a better exit right up off of turn 2. And Johnson works himself into second place. We're 24 laps into this run. And nobody from this top 10 have yet to hit pit road. Also working himself into this mix inside this top 3. Nice run there by the 95 and Nick Miller. As he has dragged a couple with him to gap, looks like I'd say 7th place of Dylan Basin. They're 2x2 around this area. Looks like we're Hunter Rupp, Ryan Kendrick, and all these drivers are. Patterson. Here comes Johnson. Will work himself down low. Patterson will shove it into the corner, but looks like Johnson he has a better vantage point into the start-finish line. I think he's going to lead the lap at the wire, but I'm not sure if he's going to retain the lead for long. Because the 0-2 of Liam Sheen is going to play a huge variable into how turn 1 and the backstretch is going to work for these top 2. Patterson still alongside the 12, but looks like the 12 of Hunter Johnson, it seems as though he's saved enough tires to maintain that top spot. But here we go, as I mentioned, where will the 0-2 go? Does he want to take it 3? Oh, looks like Patterson, he missed the entrance and he missed the apex right there in the middle of 3, and that cost him a lot of time. New leader, the 12, Hunter Johnson, works himself to the front, and he falls outside the top 3, as well as Nick Miller in the 95 works himself into 3rd place, and he's dragging the 41 of Christopher Weil. All oh so close as of right now. Top 6. All under a blanket. Within a second of each other. Who of this top 6 will hit pit road and make the gamble to be the first one with tires? I'm not sure, but the way this run is fanning out to be, I want to be the first person on pit road. So if you want to split the run right now, now's the time to do it. If you want to stretch the run all the way, you'll have to stretch it, looks like, to around lap 70 something. Looks like I'd say lap 76 or lap 78 is where you want to. Oh, looks like the caution will come out, and this will destroy this long green flag run, and that also means we don't have to pit anymore. Because pitting from this point forward will bring you all the way to the end. And for the 28 of Eric Heater, he's had an up and down night. He might have made contact with the one. I'm not really sure, but right up off the corner. Oh, Peter got a real. He got sideways right up off the corner. Oh, don't tell me his teammate ran into him. Oh my goodness. Peter kept it on the grass, but looks like did wash up and didn't hold the brakes, and that in turn flung out the caution. So a long green run ended there. As these drivers will work themselves onto pit road. Peter trying to get it turned around and into his stall correctly. A pit road is open. And this has to be the money stop. Right here. Screw it up then, or screw it up now. Find out. As the first one off easily. The 12 of Johnson. Miller might have came short to the 06 of Patterson. He'll go nowhere. Johnson. Retain his top spot, so. It seems as though the drivers who are really key for this top spot, Johnson, Patterson, and Liam Sheen. Sheen did not have a good stop. He's actually nowhere in this top 10. He might have actually gotten a speeding penalty, unfortunately. That night, yeah, it looks like Liam Sheen speeding. That is bad for that 02 of Sheen. Because he was running inside that top 5. Unfortunate for him. That penalty is going to halt him. And he's going to have to make a lot of ground from all the way in the back. Gonna have 30 laps left to duke it out. All these drivers are gonna be good on fuel, so it's just gonna be a matter of how you're gonna save your tires and how these drivers are gonna save their tires and balance it out throughout this run. Here we go. iSCAR will scoot left, and we'll go up and away yet again. As the 12 of Johnson attempts to hold off the charging field right behind. iSCAR is in. And we're back green here at Auto Club.
Green flag, green flag.
Some car did not get a good restart in the background. They're already looking 3 wide around this area, but they worked themselves into 1. Apologies for the shaky camera. That's what I got provided, but the 12 of Johnson holds a steady lead over the 06 of Patterson, but here comes the draft. It's going to play a huge factor. They're 4 wide in the back around where Sheen is. Patterson will work down low. Christopher Weil, but Weil is doing a really nice job of keeping himself in touch. Oh, looks like Weil got really tight, as well as the 12 of Johnson, so not good for the 41. He's going to lose a lot of spots, as looks like White tried to work himself through the middle. 08 of Basin was there. Johnson, in the meantime, is trying to hope and pray that they keep themselves side by side, so they wear out their tires running side by side like that. Miller to the inside of the 06 of Patterson. Patterson will try to pinch right up off the corner, but looks like Miller got a full entrance into 1. They'll keep themselves side by side for this spot. To the low side goes Miller, but the caution comes out, and I think Hunter Johnson has just lost the lead because of that. We'll get a replay of what happened as they worked themselves down the straightaway. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do this the ratchet way. Currently having a lot of issues with ATVO right now, but ATVO freezing big time on me. Just give me a moment. As, again, caution being brought out here in lap number 73. Oh my goodness, I think I have to go into Task Manager and, like, end ATVO this way, but it's a bit embarrassing. We'll get a replay of what happened here to bring out this caution. Looks as though Blake Kennedy was the one involved in this. I think he was. Oh no, it happened in front of him, and around went the 17 of Mullen. So Mullen goes around into the corner. He might have gotten help. Oh, and he collected a couple of other drivers as well in the mix, so looks like your pole sitter Mitch Hobbs also involved in that. Looks like Sheen. Oh, he washed up and into the 17 of Mullen, and that rebounced himself right into Mullen. There goes the 89, just sliding into the mix. So get the camera issues resolved here. As get ourselves situated. Here we go. As we have some really horrible camera angles being provided to us by a couple of people, but there we go. Now we're back. Still under caution though. Go ahead and change that. So now with no more pit stops really to worry about. Really, wherever you are is probably gonna be where you're gonna have to fight it out. The one to go at the wire. So it's Johnson, Miller, Patterson, Weil, and Basin. All the top 5. iSCAR will scoot itself left. It will go back up and away.
Green, green, green.
Pirate Auto Club. Work themselves into 1. Johnson got a good enough restart to clear out this top 2. I mean, these two drivers right here, Patterson and Miller, since they're side by side, they're really stalled. They can't really go anywhere. Miller. Looks like that outside line was slowly bolstering forward, but oh, Miller got really sideways right there. Patterson is doing one heck of a job of maintaining ground, but Miller's going to pull a crossover on the start-finish line. Looks like it's not going to work to avail. He'll have to settle himself for 3rd place as of right now. Some side-by-side action also right behind, as looks like the 157 of Brady also in this mix. Like Corey Long, the 93, gets himself inside this top 10 for the first time. Basin in the 08 now slots himself into 4th. And here comes Patterson for the top spot. Will work himself down to the low side, and looks like Miller will try to fill in the gap of where Patterson was. And they go side by side for 2nd. Cole Williams trying to fend out Jonathan Baker and the 5 of Brayson Collins. All these drivers around this area have really haven't went anywhere, in my opinion. Oh, the 21! That was Carson Poindexter dead sideways in the center of 2. He keeps it forward. Will scoot himself right alongside the 1 of Hunter Rupp. Joe Berge, the 83, also in the mix as well. On the meanwhile for that, the 06 of Patterson's gone. All that fighting for 2nd place has really resulted in Patterson getting that lead, but he's a sitting duck right there. That 06 is a sitting duck. And the monsters right behind. The 95, the 12, and 08 are all lurking in the mix. to catch the 06 of Patterson. I think this lead for Patterson is pretty huge, considering the fact that Miller has to use a bit of tire, and as well as a 12 of Johnson to get up to the rear end of that 06. Look at the block right there as Casey shoved William all the way to the low side. William will nose in under the 87 of Casey for that position. Go side by side. This is for 13th and 14th. Patterson's lead is slowly fading, though. Look how wide Patterson takes it into the corner into 3. I think that's the difference right there that makes Patterson really, really good, especially on the exit of the corner. He arcs it really late into turn number 3. And that makes the difference for straightaway speed. If he had a drafting partner as well, he'd be gone, in my opinion. But Brady, oh my goodness, Brady nearly washed into Parker White, as Corey Long will get a buttload of that 157. Brady chopped him out on the middle of the back straightaway. Miller looks like he's just not going anywhere. I'm very surprised that the draft is not playing to Miller's advantage. Patterson is checking out, as Miller, I don't know if he has damage, and if he can't just suck up to the backside of that 06, but we'll have 19, now 18 laps to make something happen. Berge works himself to the underside of the 93 of Corey Long. Starting to get a bit squirrely, and around that 3rd, 4th spot, Basin is getting eager to pass that 12 of Johnson, but you don't want to make a move to put yourself at risk outside this top 5, as Basin opens up the door for Wild to the low side. And this is what I was just talking about. If you want to make a move, you have to be sure those drivers right behind don't have a chance to pass. The 08 tried to make a move into 1. He opened up the door for the 41 of Weil. Weil, fortunately for the 08, couldn't pass for that position. As Miller, he's really losing a lot of ground. 17 laps to go. Miller has lost at least a 10th or so. And he's falling off fast, so it seems as though Miller's the big hiccup in this draft as of right now. So for the 12 of Johnson, you might want to get on the radio and signal the 08 to push him around the 95. Miller is a sort of, he's fast enough to retain his 2nd spot, but not fast enough to grab the lead. Oh, you see right there, Basin gave a shot to the 12 of Johnson. Work themselves into the corner. Patterson slowly pulling away. Patterson's just about checked out, but now the lead is slowly, ever so slightly, getting smaller. Get smaller in the corners because of the draft, but once, oh, looks like this lap car, Noah Ellis is going to play a huge factor. Some of these drivers can't out-track it as much as they wanted to, but seems as though clean air for that 06 of Patterson is huge, but Miller looks like got a huge shot from the 12 of Johnson, and that gap closes from what was 7/10 now to a 10th. Maybe Miller was just holding back to get at the 06 of Patterson, and now he's got a gun for that top spot. Will work himself down low. Now will the 12 of Johnson go with him? Question is, did Patterson use up his stuff up front in clean air? And it's now just getting to him. Miller to the lead. 15 laps to go. They're going to cross the start finish line. 14 laps to go as Johnson works himself to the underside of the 06. Patterson wants to come down on the 12, but looks like there's no hole. 2x2 as Bason's going to push the 06. Patterson still keeping himself in touch with the 95 of Miller. Miller gets clear of the 06 as Bason's going to take it 3 wide. Oh, Patterson to the wall! He'll clip Bason, around they go down the back straightaway. Christopher Weil involved in that, and there's more drivers piling into the bottom side. Hard hit as Brady nails the inside wall, and another bad day gone. My goodness. Another really promising day has gone to absolute garbage for the 41, and not only for the 41, but for the 06 of Josh Patterson, who has led the majority of this run. But it seems as though the tires just caught up to him, and once the pack started to swallow him up, Patterson nailed the high side barrier, and around they went down the back straightaway. And, oh gosh. For the 41 of Christopher Weil. My goodness, there's... Bang! Nailed the inside wall. But the 06 of Patterson got tight. This is the third race that Christopher Weil has been wrecked out in. Everybody hits pit road. And if there's a time to nail your stop, it's right now. $12 laps to go. And one person does stay out. Joe Berge elects on for 2. That's a huge call for the 83, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to work out for Berge, but I'm not too fond about a call with 2 tires, especially when you're that deep into a run. So Berge out first with 2 tires. It's Johnson out first with 4, and Klein stays out. Getting reports of the 83 didn't take tires, so Berge's top 10 run might have been flushed. He'll have to work himself back onto the pit road and make sure those tires are checked. Since he's in this position, do you want to stay out? Looks like no. So, Berge will scoot himself back onto the pit road. This will leave Matthew Klein all by himself. Probably take the 1 to go. Will lead his first laps of tonight. Klein's going to get swallowed in. He's not going to be able to hold off with 10 laps to go. So it's Matthew Klein up front, stayed out. I'm sure he's going to slot himself down low and get out of harm's way once the time comes around. Klein's restarts up front are pretty unpredictable. We don't usually see that 0-1 lead it to the green, but here he is. So it's sort of a guessing game for that 12 and 95 to have a charge for that top spot, as we now have Benjamin back in the booth.
Yeah, apologies there. Had some internet troubles, but we're back, and I'm able to be here for the last part of the race. I was able to have the YouTube feed up because I have data, of course. So I was able to watch it, and man, that's so unfortunate for Patterson, Weil, and Basin, who all had very good runs. But pace car's going to be in, and here comes the field to the restart zone.
Johnson really laying back the restart. As they pile up right behind, green flag is out!
Alright, man.
Caution comes out very quickly, though. And it seems as though those drivers right behind were a bit eager to hit the throttle. And around they went toward the back. Oh, it looks like the first car sideways, actually, was the 5 of Brayson Collins. That's the second time this week that Brayson... Oh, looks like Brayson... I'm not really sure what Brayson was doing. I think he checked up to not run over the 175. He did blink there. I'm not sure, but it definitely seems as though this is all on the 5 of Brayson.
Wow. Yeah, very questionable there is all I have to say. Whether he blinked or not is to be determined, but an absolutely avoidable crash, but that will keep Klein in the lead. So, hey, maybe if this happens enough times, it'll work out for him.
I don't know. Well, it happened once, so that means the chance is possible. Klein's going to have to stop for the pace car. Because the pace car is sort of... I don't even know where it is right now. There it is. It's all the way back in turn number 4, so these drivers are going to have to temporarily red flag themselves and stop on the racetrack. But for Klein, hey, more laps led for him. And the pace car is all the way... there it is. It's all the way off of... Looks like down the middle of the tri-oval. I mean, not tri-oval, but middle of the straightaway. Klein's still rolling around, but that's huge for the 01. It looks like the 12 of Johnson. Oh, I think he might have stalled the motor. Not sure if he got black flagged for a restart violation. But man, he laid back the restart a ton. Not sure if that's going to be a real restart violation, though. There's Miller. And I'm not sure who overtook for that second spot. Looks like Miller will retain second, as Klein is still rolling around. He has to love this right now, that 01. Lots of screen time for him. I know it doesn't make as many feature races as he'd like to, but here he is up front. Of course, took the opportunity to get himself through that LCQ. Klein will roll himself back up and away, but cautions breeding cautions. I wouldn't say that counted because that one right up off of restart where everybody started to stack up. So for the 01 of Klein, sort of working to his favor. He'll lead more laps. Miller, in the meantime, is sort of having PTSD. He's getting war flashbacks of the time he was at Chicagoland in the Xfinity Series. Did he lead the lap? Oh, he did lead the lap, so that's... For Miller, that's probably going to be a penalty. 5-point penalty, because Klein was supposed to lead that lap.
Not sure if that really matters because both of them have multiple laps led, so not really sure if that's too warranted, but it is written in the rulebook,
yeah,
so...
it's written in the rulebook, so can't lead laps under yellow unless you're the leader, and Miller crossed the start-finish line before the 01. I know the 01 is blinking, but still. That's a 5-point penalty, by the way. And it cost Parker White a shot at... looks like the 0-1 of Klein is going to elect to go to the low side. Probably EOL for blinking issues. So this in turn just might have handed this race to that 12 of Hunter Johnson. So now, here we go again. iSCAR will scoot itself on in. New faces arising inside this top 5. And the man who's sitting himself in third, Carson Poindexter, really haven't mentioned about him. You know how badly he wants to win this race. Car's being booted out of line. Corey Long spins the tires. And that's going to be huge. A lot of those drivers are going to have to get their black flags cleared for passing on the low side.
Official better have his clear all set up there because
That's
a lot
right.
of people are going to need it. But good save by Corey Long to be able to keep it on that outside and not collect other cars. But down the back straightaway, look at the blocking going on by Miller. Hunter Johnson, though, moves back to the outside, and Poindexter, looking for his first win, is up to third.
For the 21 of Poindexter, he's been in this position before. You want to play your cards out right, or else you won't be that car up front on the white flag. Cole Williams in the 42 is also in the mix. Around goes the 1 of Hunter Rupp. He smashes the outside wall, and one car piles into the mix as well. And another caution to be brought out here late. And that sucks for the number 1 of Hunter Rupp, who was having a nice, decent top 10 run. But unfortunately, down the drain, his run went, and looks like he had a bit of help as well. Oh, looks like, might have been Sheen. It wasn't Casey who really... It was Casey who made contact with the 1, but the Sheen doored the 87 up the racetrack, and that sort of drifted him up into the 1 of Poindexter, so... And you see right there, that's the 14 of Kenner. Let his front end disappear. Oh, he also gets doored after the initial caution. Not sure what the 71 was really thinking of. Oh, he's just... Yeah, 71 obviously not paying attention. But... Yeah, poor Hunter Rupp. Promising run, just... gone to poop. And we'll have probably a 3 to go restart.
I can't believe after everything that Cole Williams has been through tonight, he's been involved in a few crashes. He's in the 4th spot. Look at the damage on that 42 Toyota. He's all torn up, but still in 4th. I don't know how, but tip of the hat to Cole right now, who qualified on pole, but was found to have cheesed the system, so he got sent to the rear, has had a methodical way of working back through the field, and now is in a position to get a nice finish here.
It's Miller, Johnson, Poindexter, Williams, and Schmidt. The top 5. Here's where everybody stands with tires as of right now.
Who's your pick to come out with the win here tonight, seeing how these drivers are lined up?
Speed-wise, I'd say Johnson. Johnson definitely has the speed to get around that 95, but you have very little time to make something happen here with such a late race restart. Only 4 laps to go. We're going to take 3 to go at the wire. So Johnson has to nail his marks correctly. or else it's over. And Johnson's going to come up short in second, and Miller going to pick up his first win this season. Miller has been on a dry spell. That 95 could walk away here a winner.
I'm going to take Poindexter, though. He's going to be very aggressive to get his first win. And this is a great opportunity to do so. So don't be surprised if we see that 21 doing burnouts in a few laps.
I don't know. Poindexter has come up short multiple times. Is it his time to shine finally? Or will one of these top two add another win to the resume? Pace car will scoot itself down on the pit road. 6 miles will be left in tonight's race once we take the green. And that's 6 miles to decide who this winner will be.
Green, green,
As the
green.
green flag will fly. And you see right there, the 95 of Miller got a better restart than the 12 of Johnson, and Johnson didn't get as good of a restart as he wanted to. The 21 of Carson Poindexter is going to work himself to the bottom side. I think he's going to be in second place, right up off the corner. Poindexter needs to block that 42 before something happens. Look at the O2 of Sheen also work himself to the mix. He's going to slot himself right behind, though, the number 12 of Johnson. It looks like Johnson's giving a shot to Poindexter. Miller's doing all he can to get away, but... Oh, Poindexter sideways! He keeps himself in second spot, though.
Awesome save by the 21. This will only help the 95 of Miller, though, as now it looks like the caution is on the speedway. Collins is around on the front stretch.
Oh.
Overtime is in play.
After all the green flag racing we've been through, of course it had to end in overtime. And for the 5 of Racing Collins, ooh, a lot of contact there into turn number 3. Shot him in the middle, and it seems as though... Ooh, Kenner went down. Bang, into the high side barrier he goes. And also the 53 of Frimpong in that as well. Looks like Kenner was just trying to file himself in the line. Right behind the 5, and definitely a big misjudgment right there. Bang, into the outside barrier. Goes the 5. That sucks.
So unfortunate for Frimpong. He's just been caught up in so many wrecks here tonight. And that's another one for him. Now Miller probably is going to be nervous now because without that caution, he easily would have won. He was stretching that lead out. Now he has another restart to deal with. I'm expecting both Poindexter and Sheen to be very aggressive. We've seen the moves that Liam Sheen's willing to make. And he still has never got a fall season win. He has wins in the summer series, but he's looking for his first fall season win. So it'll be very interesting to see how both him and Poindexter approach this restart, both going for their first win.
That's right. For Miller, we'll pull up Dan Lisa and take a look at stats. But it's been a while since Miller has been in Victory Lane. For Nick Miller, the last time he was in Victory Lane, Chicagoland in the Xfinity Series. That was April 5th of 2020. Here we are sitting at least 5 months later. Miller yet again in position to take up a victory here tonight, but his last win was in the fall series. Didn't pick up any wins during the 2 summer series that happened. What Miller has to do, he has to get a good restart. You don't want the 12 of Johnson to be on your rear end in a 1. If that happens, then Oh boy, it's going to be a mess coming into 1, and I'm not sure who's going to work themselves to the top, but since Johnson's on the low side, he'll have a chance to get around Poindexter, just as Poindexter did in the last restart.
We've seen crazy restarts here at Auto Club before, and this will be another one. Watch for 3 and 4 wide fanning out here on the restart on both of the straightaways.
That's right. Especially coming into turn number 1 off the restart, where everybody's bunched up and everybody's just going for as much as it can. I'm interested to see on how this will work out for the drivers outside the top 10 to get a nice finish here for tonight. Joe Berging, the 83. He had to hit pit road a lap later than anticipated, but he's slotted himself into the top 10 after a bit of pit road mishaps. For Miller, you don't want to get what I'd say too good of a restart. You don't want to get a bad restart in which the 21 is going to be alongside of you, but you don't want to get too good of a restart in which the 21 is going to be clear coming into 1. Because that in turn will make that 95 a sitting duck down the back straightaway. Miller going to elect the high side for the start. This in turn is going to drag the 02 with Sheen into the mix as well. Here we go.
It's clutch time.
That's right.
Who is going to come out clutch here tonight? Miller leads the way, looking for his first Cup win of the season. He's been on a dry spell these last few months, trying to come out on top here tonight. Carson Poindexter is looking for his first win. Liam Sheen is also looking for his first win. Hunter Johnson is looking for his 37th. So a huge difference in the amount of wins here in the top 5. As pace cars in, we're going to be back underway here.
Green, green, green.
Green, green, green.
Miller. Seems as though he got a good enough restart for the 21 to be side by side. It seems as though Sheen got a better restart, but I think Poindexter is going to be clear off of turn number 2 unless Hunter Johnson... Oh! They dove for that spot, and Hunter wants to slot himself to the bottom side. Looks like no.
Here comes the run down the back straightaway. The draft will play a huge effect here. We'll see where Poindexter will make his move. He's bump drafting his teammate into turn number 3. Gets turned by Johnson, and he saves it to the inside. Keeps the foot in it, but he's going to lose several spots, and his bid for the win is over. Unfortunate, but what a save. Could be a race-saving save for him as we take the white flag.
And look who's brought into the picture. The 02 Liam Sheen now into second place. Can he make a final charge for that 95? Looks like he has to run through the corner. Oh, I think he got tied right up off. He pushed the corner too much. He's in the wall.
Ooh, that might be wraps there. Now Miller goes down the back straightaway, pulling it. 2, 3, 4/10 of a second as Schmidt goes to the inside for the second position. What a run by Schmidt here in these final laps, but off turn 4, the dry spell is going to be over for Nick Miller tonight. Off of 4, the 95 Procore Toyota will come to the checkered flag. Schmidt will crash behind, and it's Nick Miller coming home with the win tonight at Auto Club. Congratulations to that whole 95 team. Johnson gets second, Williams third, Kendrick fourth out of nowhere, and Sheen will round out the top 5. What a finish, Steve.
Wow. Miller got a great restart, and that's all it wrote. But Sheen had a huge charge there into 1. He had a huge charge off of 2, but he blew it once he got tied, and into the wall he went. Nick Miller picks up his first win in the Cup Series here at Auto Club. And what a way to pick it up, as see all the drivers around him congratulating him with his big victory here for tonight. They're just going to burn it down on the front straightaway. Congratulations to him, as we'll go ahead and pull up our statistics and race results after 104 laps here at Auto Club. Nick Miller rounds himself up top. Hunter Johnson comes home in second place. Cole Williams, Ryan Kendrick, Liam Sheen round at the top 5. Joe Berge, nice run by him. That number 86, excuse me, 83 rounds stuff out in 6th place. Carson Poindexter, Casey Drake, Jonathan T. Baker, and Dylan Basin around at the top 10.
Finishing 11th here tonight will be Parker White. David Bachman, who's been very consistent in the Cup Series, will finish 12th, so another good finish for him. Kevin White Jr., 13th. Patterson, 14th after crashing from 2nd place earlier, so unfortunate for him, but will finish 14th. Henry Clappert, 15th. Corey Long, 16th. Brianna Lavin, 17th. Blake Kennedy, Mitch Hobbs, and Brian Mullen will round out the top 20.
Aaron Brown, Hunter Robb, Matthew Klein, William Schmidt, Michael Kenner, Mark Frimpong, Noah Allison, Brayson Collins, Christopher Weil, Max Berardi round out 30th place.
Michael Bianchini, who came in 6th in points, will finish 31st, will take a hit in the points there. Eric Heater, 32nd, does not back up his win last week with a good finish here tonight. Cody Webster, 33rd. Aaron Mulrooney, 34th. Peter Kenny, 35th. Then you have Brody Garner, 36th. Garrett Hess, Andy McDowell, Charlie Byer, Latham Joyner will round out the top 40. And then the final finishers here. 41st, Nick Indelicato, who won last night, will not back up with the win here tonight. Malachi Drake, 42nd. And Thomas Lloyd will finish in dead last. 43rd spot for Thomas.
Congratulations to Nick Miller and that number 95 for picking up the big win here at Auto Club. We'll be right back right after this, so we'll stay tuned. There's more to come as we interview out the top 5. We welcome everybody back here live for the Auto Club 200 iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series. Rounds itself to 95, and Nick Miller up front. We'll go ahead and drag him into the booth here for tonight, picking up his first win of the season. Nick Miller, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Nick, finally, about time. It's been a bit of a dry spell from the Summer Series all the way up to here, but you went that dry spell here tonight at Auto Club, and you pick up a big victory here tonight at the iSCAR RaceLab Cup Series. Congratulations, first off, but before we dive into those last restarts, talk about the car overall.
Yeah, over the long run, it was kind of like opposite ends. So like turn 1 and 2 for me, I was a little tight, so I took a wider arc and let it roll more. Turn 3 and 4, depending on how I had hit it, it would kind of snap out loose. The rear end would want to snap. So it was like tight and loose, but it did kind of play in my favor. That's how I like the loose end was the right amount of loose that I liked it, and then the tight, it wasn't overly tight. So yeah, I was good on the long run.
Those final restarts played key for your win here for tonight. What was going through your mind once you hit the throttle and the green came out?
Hopefully, I was hoping Poindexter would have stayed one. We would have been 1-2 for SPM, but he got booted into 3, and then it was just I had to find a way to defend off Liam, and he made the mistake in 1. And yeah,
All right, bud. 10-4. Nick Miller in that 95 finally rounds himself out in victory lane here for tonight. Congratulations, Miller. But before we let you go, I just want to thank you for tonight.
SPM, Wheel, obviously he was helping me early in the run. Well, no, 3 long runs we had. And then Point Extra, of course, for working together there at the end, making sure we got a victory for SPM.
All right, 10-4. Nick Miller rounds himself out up top here yet again in victory lane. Congratulations, bud, for your first ever iSCAR Cup Series win this season. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
You already asked that.
Oh, shoot, I'm stupid. Thank you, Miller, for the big old W here for tonight. Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I asked the same question. I'm sort of dozing off, but we'll go ahead and drag in number 12 of Hunter Johnson into the booth. Benjamin will obviously make a fool out of me with this better interview.
Hunter, you have a copy, sir.
Yeah, I got you.
16 laps led, but 1 spot short tonight. Just tell me what more you needed in those final laps.
It was just a rough couple of restarts there. I honestly, I wish that went green from when we had that run going at around like 30 to go. I felt like I probably would have had a much better shot then, but that last restart especially was just really rough. I made a lot of mistakes. I'll admit. I ended up making contact with, I think, Liam, Carson, and Schmidt. I mean, I'm not trying to do that. It's just it's so close when you're almost completely full throttle around the track. You can't really let off at all, and I just made some small judgment errors, and it ended up hurting a couple people. So I apologize to them. I'm never trying to do anything like that intentionally, but it's just that's kind of can't avoid it sometimes when it comes down to 2-lap restarts. But overall, I think from starting 34th or whatever it was, I think that was a pretty good run. We had made some ground up pretty quickly early in the race. It only took me like 10 laps to get from 34th to the top 5. So, and then the long runs, like I said, were really good for me. I felt like I was able to save tires really well. But yeah, overall it was a solid race, but I hate the way it ended up for some people there.
Well, you entered this race 31st in points after so many unfortunate breaks you caught earlier in the season, but this runner-up finish will certainly help you in the points, so a little bit of a confidence booster for this Cup Series season for you.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm trying to go out and win, I kind of have to keep points in mind, because lately it's been either I finish well or I completely or just finish terribly. So that's something I have to try and be patient about. I got to be finishing solid each week just to make sure I have a spot in the chase come week 14, I believe. So yeah, that's definitely important. So I just got to keep that in mind coming in the next coming weeks.
Well, we're going to hand you the mic here one more time. Do you have anybody you want to thank for this runner-up effort?
Yeah, I gotta thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, MaxB TV, and also everyone at Proximity Racing for everything they do.
Congratulations, Hunter, on this runner-up finish. Hopefully this will mean more good finishes for you in the future.
All right, thank you.
And that was Hunter Johnson in the number 12. We're going to go ahead and scoot ourselves back 1 spot to a man surprising in that number 42. Cole Williams rounded himself out in 3rd place here for the evening. Bit of right front damage. Looks like a battered machine brought you in a 3rd place finish here for tonight. Very impressive, especially where you were roaming around outside or mostly inside that top 10, but really wasn't really much of a factor during that mid portion. But what brought you in here for this top 3? What just put yourself in that position there for the end?
Yeah, man. I had damage pretty much the entire time. Got no baked by Peter Kenny again. Did the same thing at Daytona and got him the win from netcode. But yeah, that right side was just killed. My engine was good. I think that's what saved the race pretty much was the engine being good. But the splitter being damaged and the right rear, the spoiler being out of whack, it just killed me down the straightaways. But just surviving, and I feel like the short runs in the corners it was fine, but on the straightaways, just they would all blow by me. But it was just crazy how like half the field was half faster than like half the field on a long run, even with that destroyed of a car. I really like this track. It's my home track. Of course, received the penalty in the EOL for the qualifying thing. I'm gonna have to review the rules because all I did was swerve for half a straightaway, and then just went high on my first lap and used my brain cells and got a good run on my main lap, and I got penalized for it. So I'll have to figure that out later. But 25 points is not what I want, especially getting the best finish of the season right here. I don't want to get 25 points stock from that just because I simply swerved for half straightaway. That does nothing on iRacing, but yeah, man, it was just surviving. Of course, they were wrecking on the last lap and stuff like crazy, and just thankfully Netco didn't catch me out or something right there.
Oh, that's right. You bring home a third place finish here for tonight. Congratulations on your big finish here for the evening. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank Eel Media Racing, of course. None of my guys really make that tonight, but thanks to them, thanks to Appella Gaming, Stealth Energy, and of course these custom diecast coming on board. Finally moved over to the Camry, Camry for this race. I feel like I like that a lot better, and I think the Stealth Energy car looks really good, so I put that on for today, and just glad to bring it home P3.
All right, about 10-4. Cole Williams rounded himself out in P3 after starting himself toward the rear. We'll go ahead and see you come into your next race, bud. Go ahead and drag in one more person. A couple more people into the booth. 00 of Ryan Kendrick on in. And Benjamin will go ahead and take this one away. Or I guess not. Benjamin's sort of muted. But Ryan Kendrick, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Ryan, congratulations on your 4th place finish here for tonight. And it looks like the late race restarts played a big factor into those final positions to bring yourself a 4th place finish. So before we talk about those late race restarts, how'd you set yourself up during that mid portion of the run?
Yeah, I didn't have the best of qualifying runs, so I went from like the mid-20s, and I was able to get up to close to the top 10, like somewhere around 10th to 13th, and kind of right around there for the most part of the race. And then, like at one point when I finally got up into the top 10, I got like a like a penalty for hitting the pit exit cone, so that sent me to the back. And then from there, like from about 20 to go, I was just trying to make my way back up towards the front. And yeah, like you said, with all the late cautions and restarts, I was able to get a few more spots there at the end.
All right, bud. 10-4. You ran yourself out of 4th position here for tonight. A solid points day yet again for that 00, and it brings yourself up 7 positions into 8th in points. So coming points wise, next, not 8th. Looks like up 2 positions into 6th place in points. So congratulations to put yourself in nice position in the point standings. So coming to a big track like Bristol. Of course, not lengthwise, but a big race there. What's your mindset coming into the small bull ring?
Yeah, just try to keep out of trouble and stuff because I like Bristol. I feel like if I can stay out of the wrecks and stuff, I could probably have, or at least contend for another top 5. I think maybe even a win if some other things fall my way. But hopefully, just get out of there with another solid finish.
All right, bud. 10-4. Ryan Kendrick rounds himself out in 4th place. But before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Eric Eater, Casey, Malachi, and Aaron, along with Proximity Racing and everyone over there.
All right, bud. 10-4. Ryan Kendrick rounds himself out in 4th place after starting in 24th. We'll go ahead and see you coming to your next race, bud.
All right, see ya.
Go ahead and drag in one more person into the booth, and go ahead and Benjamin A. White is going to interview Liam Sheen.
Yeah, apologies there for the mute. I had a Discord crash, so that's why. Liam, you got a copy, sir.
I gotcha.
Well, 5th place tonight, no laps led, but unfortunately you hit the wall off turn 2 and it ended your shot. Just walk me through what happened there on that final lap.
Well, on the final lap, I just tried to get too much too early. I knew I was faster than Nick. I knew if I just could set it up right, I could have got to him, on the backstretch, have a solid run down there. I kind of arced it a little wider so I can try to get a little bit of a run as we went down the back, and maybe I could have got to his inside in 3 and 4, or maybe got to his outside, but just went for it too early. Tried to get too much with too little time, and yeah, hit the wall.
We pointed out a few times over this broadcast that there was a little bit of a broadcast war going on between you and Basin, and you come out on top of that, so there has to be a little added bonus for you and SimTV there.
Yeah, yeah. Basin set that up like maybe 20 minutes before the race. I didn't even know if I was gonna race tonight because my iRacing subscription was going whack. But nice to represent SimTV and have give him a good finish, top 5, and get him above podium. I know Basin probably should have been up there with that, but unfortunately stuff happens. But yeah.
We're going to give you the mic here one more time. Do you have anybody you want to thank for this top 5 effort here tonight? This will also help you in the points. You're 5th in points now, so that's good.
Actually, I'm 3rd, but I guess got to thank Garrett, for letting me be on his team, and SimTV, obviously, Splash and Go Graphics, Jesse Abraham, all those guys, and got to say it was a pretty good race tonight. I think I was in contention all day or all night, so got shuffled back with a EOL going on to pit road, but got back up to 5th, and yeah, so thanks to all those guys, and thank you guys for broadcasting and putting on the show.
We certainly appreciate the support. Liam, congrats here on the top 5, and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That was Liam Sheen in the the 0-2 here for tonight, and that will round out tonight's broadcast for the iSCAR RaceLabs Cup Series Auto Club 200. Thank you all again for tuning in for tonight's event. Our last, I think the last race that is on Max Speed TV here for tonight. So for all of those people who are tuning in here for this one, thank you all for watching. We will see you coming for tomorrow night's event. Once the iSCAR Nice Design series hits the track at Dover for 125 laps. We also got to thank our sponsors, RaceLab, iRacing Overlays, as well as Max Speed TV for presenting tonight's broadcast as well. Benjamin, any last second remarks?
The racing out there was great. I was very surprised for Auto Club, but this was one of the best races of the season as far as racing action on the track goes. We saw lots of 3 wide, but we saw off throttle time the whole race, which really, in my mind, makes a race good. So very good job by everybody. Even though we had a stack up of cautions at the end, it was overall a very good race.
All right, and that'll do it here for tonight's Max Speed TV broadcast. Until next time, my name is Ezeckiel Reyes and Benjamin A. White alongside of us. Dover coming tomorrow to you at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Go ahead and tune in for the Xfinity cars once they hit the track there. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.